It's 20 minutes after 10 and we have Mr. Alatorre, Mr. Bernson, Mrs. Chick, Mr. Fuhr, Mr. Hernandez, Ms. Sikowski, Mr. Walters, Mr. Wax. We have 7, 8, 9 members present. We need one for a quorum. Ms. Galanter, would you please come to the council chamber? Ridley Thomas, would you please come to the council chamber? Mr. Holden. Ms. Galanter, Mr. Holden, Mr. Ridley Thomas. I guess Mr. Ridley Thomas and Mr. Holden are conferring on some things. Sally, how are you? How's Ray? Sergeant, are they in the building or not? If not, we're going to adjourn for lack of a quorum.
Mr. Ridley Thomas is on his way, and Ms. Galanter is...
Council will please come to order. Call the roll.
Alatorre, Burnson, Chick, Fuhr, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Ridley Thomas, Fornich, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, this is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 28th day of April 1999. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Mr. Hernandez moves, Mr. Wax second. If there's no objections, unanimous vote. The next item,
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
if there are no objections, unanimous vote. Next item,
Before beginning the regular agenda, Mr. President, you have several items to continue. Item number 2, you have a request to continue until May 4th.
is if there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number 4 has been requested to be continued until May 12th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number 5 has been requested to be continued until May 5th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number
Item number 5, continue. Who requested it to be continued?
the applicant.
The applicant. We can take that up after. Let's go finish the other applicant.
Item number 6 has been requested to be continued until October 19th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote. Next item.
Item number 7 has been requested to be continued until June 8th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number 8, Council District 15 has been requested to be continued until May 19th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number 15 has been requested to be continued until April 30th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number 22 has been requested to be continued until May 19th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
And item number 31 has been requested to be continued until April 30th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote. Item number 5, Mr. Burnson, we will not continue that. We'll take that up today. We'll discuss it later, so it's on the agenda. Okay. Let me first of all introduce a class from USC, the School of Policy, Planning, and Development. They're with Professor Rollo Hall. It's the Los Angeles semester. Would they please stand? Professor Hall, would you please stand, and your students? We want to welcome you to... I hope your students realize what a great school they're going to. We have several other good schools in Los Angeles. Occidental. Next item.
Items, notice for public hearings, items 1 through 10, with the exception of those that have already been continued. Item number 1 is a public convenience or necessity.
Okay, there's anybody want to be heard on item number 1? There's no cards. Public hearing is closed. Any discussion on item number 1?
I need a motion to grant the application.
Our Mr. Holden moves, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 3 is a conditional use appeal. Planning and Land Use Committee report to be submitted.
Item number 3, anybody in the chamber wants to be heard on item number 3? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
That is approved. The next item,
Item number 5, Mr. President, you have some cards on the item.
yes, we have one card. We have Ron Mecklin. Ron Mecklin, you want to be heard on item number 5?
Okay, I just wanted to make a real brief comment that in general, we do support the right of property owners. In this particular case, we do have concern with ingress and egress of traffic at that site. Thanks.
Yeah. Mr. Burnson, I believe there was a request to continue. You had this in committee yesterday. And they had a request to continue, and you denied the request, the councilman of the district, as opposed to the continuance. So, is there any discussion on this? Ms. Sikowski?
Mr. Farrar, I wonder if we could just lay this on the desk. Yesterday, there was a denial of the request to continue it in committee, and the committee heard it. I'm not sure it was clear to everyone that it was going to be heard in council today, and maybe we should just clarify that, because it is an appeal, and I don't know if we have the appellants here. If everyone is satisfied, I think the committee was unanimous in its action, but I'm not sure that the notice was given appropriately on today's hearing.
Where did you get the request to continue, Maria?
It was on the file.
Did they call or what?
The applicant consented to the continuance.
The applicant, but we don't consent to it. Is there anybody here besides Mr. Mecklin that's involved with this? Those applicants, are they here?
Are the appellants? No one's here.
Okay. All right, Mr. Burnson has moved that the committee report be adopted. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
And that is approved. Next item. Forthwith on that. Next item.
Item number 9 is a parcel map appeal. Planning and Land Use Committee report to be submitted.
Is there any discussion on, anybody want to be heard on item number 9? Have no cards. Public hearing is closed. Any discussion on item number 9? The motion is to approve, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that. All right, Mr. Hernandez for a presentation.
Should I call Renee about this?
Renee?
Ridley Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council, and
Well, he has to wait a half hour because he's...
Mr. President, it seemed like you were on a roll there on the agenda, so I'm sorry I had to interrupt it, but what's before us today, I think, is something of tremendous importance to many of us. I think Councilmember Fuhr would like to come up also. And someone from our city family is leaving us. It's my honor to be presenting her a resolution of commendation with Councilmember Fuhr, and in fact, it was signed by all members, and that's Sally Thompson, and if Sally would please come up. What you need to know is I've been bombarded by memos and notes from people who wanted me to make sure I said this about Sally or said that about Sally. And part of that has been because of who she is and what she did for the city of Los Angeles. Many of you know that Sally Thompson is the first executive director on the Commission of Children, Youth, and Their Families. And her departure is something that I will miss because I really enjoyed working with her. And I shared with Sally one day, we were talking downstairs, that when she was first selected by the mayor, I was questioning the process, not necessarily her, but the process of her selection. And this is one of those instances where the mayor proved me wrong because Sally Thompson did a tremendous job. And I want to say a few words because Vivian Weinstein, who's ill and is the chairman of the Commission of Children, Youth, and Their Families, wanted to make sure that I extended some best wishes to Sally and a statement that the commission reluctantly is accepting her resignation. And it's because the commission will be missing her leadership as well as her dedication to the city's children. I also wanted to share with you some of the accomplishments of the commission. You see, Sally's now going to become the executive director of the Music Cares Foundation for the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. So she'll continue to be working on behalf of children. And at the same time, I wanted us to recognize some of the efforts that the commission has done under her leadership, because I think that when you look at it as the newest commission established in the city of Los Angeles, and the task it had at the time. And I want to remind people that this commission was established in the city basically as a leadership role for other cities. Because we started talking about our children, we started talking about our youth, we started talking about our family. And it was a result of, I think, a shooting at Fairfax High School, in which the council held public hearings, the mayor's office and his dedication to our children, and I guess his significant one in terms of the First Lady of the city and her dedication to children. And the reality is this commission is something that you don't see in every city. Some of the work that they've done is they, for example, extended the recreation programs to include all after-school programs serving kids from 6 to 17. The outcome resulted in the creation of the city's first standards for after-school programs. These standards will be used by city policymakers and aid in making budgetary and programmatic decisions that affect our city's youth beyond city municipal services. In 1998, the commission created the Policy Grants and Administration Division. And this division initiated work on important legislation that will impact the quality of our city's residents as well as our children. They began to work on key after-school legislation that allocated $50 million to statewide expansion of after-school programs. The commission partnered with the Office of the Mayor, the city's Chief Legislative Analyst, the President of LA Best, Carlos Anger, and Los Angeles Unified School District to make sure that happened. With the assistance of the U.S. Department of Justice, our commission introduced the Greater Los Angeles Youth Initiative. The vision of this exciting new project is to establish a city-county partnership that will address the issues of youth, crime, victimization, and the quality of our city's neighborhoods. This past winter, City Council voted to approve $375,000 grant award from the U.S. Department of Justice, Office on Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Programs to administer the program. In April of 1999, the Commission published the first City of Los Angeles Children, Youth, and Family Zip Code Data Book. This publication provides a valuable and informative snapshot of the conditions and issues facing children and families in the City of Los Angeles. You need to know that the Commission further worked with local leaders and city officials to disperse Proposition K funds to repair local parks and facilities. Our Child Care Division initiated the work on non-traditional hours child care plan and developed guidelines for conditional use permits for child care residential facilities. The Child Care Division also laid groundwork for the city's first master plan of child care. In October 1988, the Commission sponsored and participated in community health fairs, outreach programs throughout the city. An estimated 15,000 families have received information and referrals to available health insurance. These are some of the things they've talked about, but they also started the LA Kids Network in several different council districts where we have programs that are working. I want to kind of say some of the accomplishments of the commission, because the reality is we as a city, no different than any other city in our great country, are dealing with the issues of what happened, for example, in Middleton. And many times we forget that when we talk about youth violence, a lot of that violence starts in the homes, and a lot of that violence is because of lack of children understanding the attachment to a society, attachment to an immediate family, and attachment to people who care about them and the value of life. And that's the work this commission does on behalf of the city of Los Angeles. Sally Thompson personifies those kinds of concepts. She cares about our children, and the commission cares about our children, and her department cares about our children. And I stand here with a lot of pride because of the work that they've been doing on behalf of the city of Los Angeles, its kids, its families. And so, Sally, this is in the form of a commendation. I wanted to mention some of the accomplishments of the commission because it was through your leadership. And you'll be missed by me, and I think many of us. You have a lot to be proud of. And we look forward to your continued work and collaboration and other kinds of projects that will make a difference for our children, our youth, and our families.
All right. Did we have, did Mr. Fuhr Mr. Fuhr and Ms. Chick and Mr. Ridley Thomas, they wanted to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, Mike was saying he stands here with a lot of pride. We stand here with a lot of council members, well, which is indicative of the fact that Sally's leadership has meant so much to so many throughout the city. You know, I can just think of several key instances of our teamwork. Going to Sacramento to work on getting additional funding for after-school programs, working together to establish standards for our after-school programs to know what's working and what's not, working together to establish more powerful anti-violence programming in our schools, to know, among a few of the projects that we've worked together on in the teamwork between the commission and the committee that I'm privileged to chair. Sally has always been deeply committed, long before she was working within the city of Los Angeles at City Hall, deeply committed to the future of our kids, and she's continuing that commitment. I think there's no question that a special place in your heart, Sally, will always exist, both for public service in general and for advocacy on behalf of children in particular. All of us are very proud of you, delighted with your service, and offer you congratulations and best wishes for many more successful years, assuring our kids have a safe, meaningful future.
And having respect and sensitivity about what it's like to stand up here and hear your praises sung, Mr. Ridley Thomas and I are pleased to introduce Miss Sally Thompson.
Thank you all very much. I was just telling Mike, I'm blown away by this. This is fabulous. I want to take the opportunity
Never mind
to
that,
thank...
John. I want to, my constituent.
Oh,
To say what a wonderful person you are, Sally. So, Mr.
Sally,
Brinson
I don't
wants
want
to
to
say.
interrupt you, Sally. I don't know what all
that's
these
okay.
people...
You have the floor, sir.
I don't know what all these people are doing up there. You're my constituent, and they're all lining up, you know. But it just tells you what a terrific person Sally is.
That's because she lives in your district.
Long before the mayor found her, she was busy in our community working with youth, and she's done just a terrific job. And I just want to, I mean, you've listened to all those people talking about it, but I'm just telling you, Sally, that we go back a long ways, and I know what you've done in the community, and we really appreciate it. And you've done a great job for the city, and we wish you well in your new thing. Now you can talk. Thanks.
So, Ms. Sikowski, wait a while, Sally. There, everybody wants to let you know how
Sally,
they love you.
in truth, I think all of us want to be standing there with you. When Mr. Hernandez read the list of what you had accomplished, it's all the more fantastic in that you created this out of nothing. You saw a need, along with the mayor and the council, in creating this commission, and you never lost focus of putting kids first. And that's what it was all about, and that's what had not happened in this city. And I think your leadership is going to be really hard to follow, because that focus, that enthusiasm, that drive, that dynamic quality, which is so important, as I think we're seeing today in headlines all around us, you never lost sight of. And so we need to find someone to fill those shoes with that incredible tenacity, not only in creating the commission, but crossing the bureaucratic lines, crossing the governmental lines, and recognizing that among all of that, that wasn't important. What was important was the children. And you have so clearly personified that ethic, that value for all of us, that it is really going to be hard for us to fill your shoes, and we're going to miss you.
Okay, Sally, now.
Yeah, seriously. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah. Mark's just telling me, hurry up, because he's going to start grumbling again. Just the opportunity to thank this distinguished council and the mayor to be able to serve as the first executive director of the Commission for Children, Youth, and Family. It's truly been an honor for me. I also want to acknowledge our fantastic team at the Commission. We have built up over the last 2.5 years a fabulous team of folks. A lot of them are sitting here, and we have some wonderful commissioners who are also here. And a husband, yeah, Michael Thompson is my husband. I'm most everything to say. He's dynamite. A lot of very supportive. But our team has, as Mike listed all the accomplishments, performed all these, and they're just a fabulous, fabulous group of people, and I've just been glad to be a part of them. So Thank you so much. I look forward to continue working with you. I left you all a letter saying, call me if you need anything. I still want to be of service to the city and to children. I'm going to continue working with children at Music Cares. And as you know, the National Academy makes a lot of money in the city of Los Angeles, but I don't see a lot of it shared here with the children of Los Angeles, so we're going to turn that around. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Ridley Thomas, yours is the half-hour delayed.
I beg your pardon, sir?
We have a new rule.
And?
If you're 20 minutes late, you have to wait 20 minutes before you can make your presentation.
You're so gracious unto me, Mr. President.
So you were 30 minutes late.
May I appeal to you for a special dispensation?
You're granted.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
God bless you. Mr. President, members of the council, I'd like to acknowledge the YWCA of Greater Los Angeles. They are represented by Ms. Gail Greenwood, Ms. Olivia Mitchell, and Ms. Deanna Stevenson, and I would like for them to come forward and receive this proclamation on behalf of the City Council. I would like to ask Ms. Walters if she would join us in making this presentation. It is worth noting that these leaders in our community are here because of their efforts in hosting a day-long symposium in our city called Race Relations in the New Millennium. This event will recognize the 1992 civil unrest as one of the most devastating incidents of racial upheaval in the city's history, and move forward to focus on ways to eliminate racial bias and discord in our communities. Two of those who have shown exemplary leadership in the area of racial relations and civil rights, Dolores Huerta and Constance Rice, will be the recipients of this year's first annual Racial Justice Award at tomorrow's event. In addition to bringing together prominent civil rights leaders in Los Angeles, the event will also reach out to young people, Mr. President, members of the council, by holding a session on racial issues and encouraging them to pursue projects on the same topic in their respective schools. The YWCA Symposium also brings attention to the organization's national effort to establish a national day of commitment to eliminate racism and erase the hate in response to incidents like the civil unrest. Colleagues, please join me in recognizing the YWCA's significant efforts in furthering greater understanding between citizens of the Greater Los Angeles community. We needn't be reminded that this is the most ethnically diverse city in the world, and as a result, it is organizations like this, people like those who are board members and staff who help make our city a better and safer place in which to live. Ms. Walters?
Well, I just want to extend my congratulations to YWCA as well, and to commend them on the work that they continue to do on behalf of all communities. When I was a youngster growing up, I spent a lot of time at the Y in my city, and they did a marvelous job with young people and reaching out and making positive avenues available where young people could interact with one another. And I think it still stands for that and is still continuing that. So congratulations.
Mr. President, we now would ask Ms. Greenwood if she would have remarks and receive this certificate of condemnation, this resolution on behalf.
We condemn the
Thank you. Thank you. May I rewind that tape, Mr. President? Certificate of commendation this resolution, this reso, on behalf of the City Council on the occasion of the race and the New Millennium event. Ms. Greenwood?
Councilman Ridley Thomas, Councilmember Walters, President Ferraro, and members of the City Council, thank you so very, very much. On behalf of the YWCA of Greater Los Angeles, it is indeed my honor and my pleasure to accept this resolution. The YWCA has been providing services in the Los Angeles area for 105 years, with the mission for the empowerment of women and the elimination of racism, which is a very powerful mission. So it is indeed our pleasure to receive this resolution, and we are indeed excited about the symposium tomorrow, Racial Justice in the New Millennium. I would like to acknowledge and introduce a member of our board that you all know and love, who's a part of the city family, Olivia Mitchell.
Thank you.
And I would like to introduce to you Deanna Stevenson, who is the Director of Public Policy for the YWCA of Greater Los Angeles, who will give you a few more words about the Racial Justice Symposium tomorrow. It is really through Deanna's work that this symposium is happening. So thank you all very, very much on behalf of the YWCA, the board, and all of the people that we serve. We are deeply appreciative. Thank you.
Council members, I just have a few words to say. I'd like to thank Councilmember Ridley Thomas especially for all his work with us on this project, and thank you for stepping up with us. These are my remarks. We have never been able to rid our city, our nation, our world of ethnic and racial violence. Wouldn't it be an extraordinary project for the 21st century to erase violence and racism from the human consciousness? The YWCA of Greater Los Angeles in tomorrow's event is a place where we can start doing just that. And I hope that you and your staff members will be able to attend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Burnson, item number 5, we have to reconsider because there, and then May 5th. All right, is there any objections to reconsideration of 5? Seeing none, the matter is before us, and the motion is to continue until May 5th. No objections, that will be the order. Next item.
Item number 10 is the Building and Safety Report. We've been advised to receive and file this inasmuch as the assessment has been paid.
Okay, there's no objections. Item 10 will be received and filed. Members, we have item 24, 25, 26, 27, and 29 ordinances. Are there any specials? Huh? And 36. Are there any specials there?
24.
Has he done 14?
No. If not, prepare the roll on those ordinances. And the reports and the communications. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. Item number 30, 36, we'll send that forthwith. Okay.
36 forthwith.
The next items.
Items for which public hearings have been held, 11 through 21.
Okay, any specials? 14?
Yes, 14 and also 33.
Also what?
33.
We haven't gotten to that one yet. Item 12. Any other specials?
Mr. President.
11 through 21.
On item 18, I just wanted to submit a friendly amendment that we include the Department of Public Works and its bureaus as part of the discussion on the leases.
All right, is there any objections to adding that to 21?
Item 18.
Item 18. Okay, seeing none. All right, we have 11, 13, 16, 17, 18 as amended. 19, we need a motion to And we'll call that special. 20 and 21. Prepare the roll. Yeah. 21 is to be referred to IGR. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Next items, 23 through 34, items for which public hearings have not been held.
We have people who want to be heard on 28, we'll call that special. And we have people who want to be heard on 34, call that special. Anybody want to be heard on any of the other items? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any specials? 33 is called special. Any other specials? If not, prepare the roll on, 23, 23, 30, 32, and 35. No, 35. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Next item, Mr. President, on the continued agenda, well, you just voted on item number 35. That was a Planning and Land Use Committee report. And next item then would be the closed session, item number 37.
Well, we'll hold that on the desk.
Item number
12.
12 called special by Councilmember Holden.
Mr. Holden, you call 12 special?
Mr. President, before you start my time, this has to do with the stranded debt of about $8 billion. We're addressing about $4.4 billion in the other cities, and I just need to have more information. I just got this report.
You want to come forward? You were the department?
Yes,
Come forward to the table here.
I'm Bob Rosansky, Assistant Chief Financial Officer for the LA Department of Water and Power.
I'm Michael Gorfain with the City Administrative Office. Do you have any specific questions, Councilman?
This is a very complicated program you have on the table before us. And, you know, you're trying to eliminate or reduce the stranded debt of, at least in this proposal, about $4.4 billion. And I think you need to tell us about it so I can maybe ask them questions.
Okay, since 1981, the department and 5 other Southern California cities, Anaheim, Burbank, Glendale, and Pasadena, and Riverside, have been participants in the Intermountain Power Project, which is a 1,600 megawatt coal-fired plant in Delta, Utah. The participants are obligated to take the power, 100% of the power from the plant on a take-or-pay basis through 2027. When the project was built, it was 100% debt financed. There's approximately $4.4 billion of debt outstanding today. It's not competitive, and the department's share of that debt is approximately 67%, or about $3 billion. Approval of this prepayment plan will enable the department to prepay its share of the Intermountain Power Project debt that is currently stranded or not competitive, consistent with the action plan that was approved early last year by the City Council. At this point in time, this agreement has to go before the governing bodies of all the participants and requires approval, 100% approval of all. As I understand it, 3 of the 6 agencies have received approval, and the agreement is voluntary and does not commit or obligate the city or the department to accelerate the payment of debt.
Okay, now I can ask the question. Will any other cities be adversely affected that relates to the stranded debt as a result of our action? And is there any reason why they would not stipulate to this approach in terms of paying down the stranded debt?
No, the agreement has been structured such that each city can prepay on its own whatever it desires to prepay. There's no obligation on the part of any of the member cities to prepay.
And how much do we have to pay? Is it $3 billion, or I saw something?
It's approximately $3 billion, about $2.97 billion.
About $2.97 billion, and how will we acquire that $2.97 billion in order to make the advance payment on the $4.4 billion debt?
As you are aware, the department has gone through rather substantial downsizing. Our staffing levels have gone down approximately 4,500 over the last 3 or 4 years. We have been working to reduce our costs significantly in preparation for competition. We have sold some of our unproductive and excess assets, and the funds and the savings that we're receiving from these actions are serving to allow us to
So you have to, are you required to pay the $3 billion up front, or are you going to float a bond to do that?
No, the department will be prepaying the debt out of excess cash that would be generated through operations.
So and you could give some of this back as a savings to the consumer too, could you?
Yes. Well, the current plan is that at the end of the transition period in 2003 for the department, that we've committed to in early January of 2002 to reduce the residential rates by approximately 5%. And to further reduce the industrial and commercial rates thereafter.
By what percent?
That hasn't been determined at this time.
Okay, Mr. President.
Ms. Galanter?
I just wanted to say it is a complicated ordinance and agreement that we're looking at here. We had a fairly extensive hearing on it in the Commerce, Energy, and Natural Resources Committee. What the beauty of this ordinance, of this agreement, is that we can prepay our debt to put ourselves in a good position by the time the competitive window opens up, whether or not the other cities are able to pay their debt. And they can do the same thing, whether or not we're able to. We are ahead of our schedule on paying down our debt today because we made so much money in the energy trading market this last year. And of course, we hope to continue doing that. The question that the committee asked, and which has now been answered, was do the bondholders have to agree to this? Because this does require a change in the bond covenants. And I was told when I met with our underwriters last week that we now have the agreement of a high enough proportion of the bondholders that we're covered on that. And so we're ready to go. All we need to do is ratify it, and I would certainly urge that we do so we can become more competitive.
Trying to simplify this process a little bit more, my understanding is the current agreement basically requires all the entities involved in this participation agreement to basically try and reduce the debt at the same rate.
Everybody moves together as a single lump under the old version. What we're trying to do is spread out so that we can go as fast as we can.
Exactly. So what this allows is for each entity to reduce its own debt.
That's correct.
And we're in a position right now to start doing that. And by reducing the debt that we're paying out on a yearly basis, it'll give us the opportunity not to spend that money on interest and debt, but rather on reductions at some time in the near future to rate holders.
That's it in a nutshell.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, that's all. Then we have item number 12 before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that. Forthwith on 24 also. Next item.
Item number 14, called special by Councilmember Walters.
Mrs. Walters.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I would ask the DWP staff to come back to the table because 14 is another item that concerns them. 14 is an item that's going to increase an existing contract amount by $3 million and extend the terms by 36 months. So you're giving them $3 million more plus an added 3 years on the contract without going out to rebid. And I'm wondering why that is.
Steve McBain, Department of Water and Power.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Steve McBain from the Department of Water and Power. The reason we don't go out to competitive bid, there was a memorandum of understanding signed between the department, Inyo County State Lands Commission.
Sir, I can't hear you. Maybe they can turn up the sound over there on your mic.
Let's try this. How's that?
Oh, that's much better.
Okay, the reason we haven't gone out, we don't go out to competitive bid, is because there's a memorandum of understanding between the department, Inyo County, the State Lands Commission, Department of Fish and Game, and an environmental group. The memorandum of understanding was signed to settle approximately 25 years of litigation over groundwater pumping in the Owens Valley. The MOU specifically names Ecosystem Sciences as the consultant to do the studies and develop management plans.
And so it names that company forever, that you can never go out to bids, and it has never been out to bid?
It's never been out to bid, to my knowledge.
What was the initial contract? What was the amount of the initial contract?
2.5 million,
For how many years?
3 years.
And now is the 3 million in addition to the 2.5 for the initial years of the contract, or is the 3 million for the subsequent 3 years of the contract?
It's for the subsequent 3 years.
Mr. Deaton.
Not necessarily here to defend the contracting of the Department of Water and Power, but I do believe that we need to move ahead on this. We are under a very, very tight timetable in the Owens Lake issue, where there's state legislation, there's a whole host of commitments we've made to both the air quality district there, the state, and the federal government relative to pursuing these attempts to reduce the amount of dust on the lake, and we're under the gun, and we need to move ahead.
Well, I am not at all interested in making the people in Owens Valley suffer any more than they have over these past years. But it seemed unusual to me that we're going to add $3 million to the contract and extend it for another 3 years without it going out to bid. And that was my...
It is unusual.
...concern. And the gentleman there at the table tells me that they were named, this particular company was named in the settlement. Was that as a condition of the settlement, or how did that happen?
I don't recall the settlement having their names in it. We had a commitment that...
Did I misunderstand you?
No, that is correct. They are in the settlement agreement. I don't know how, I wasn't involved in the settlement agreement, so I don't know how their name wound up in there. There's been a lack of trust between the groups up there, in particular with the department and some of the consultants they've hired in the past. They've been accused of doing studies that favor the department. Ecosystem Sciences, they've developed a lot of trust with the community up there, with Inyo County, with the other agencies, State Land Commission, Department of Fish and Game, and I believe that's why they were put in the MOU. It was a consultant that everyone agreed on, everyone trusted, and continues to trust.
This is different. This must be a memorandum of understanding between the department and the Great Basins Air District. The agreement that came through council was relative to a timetable and the activities we were going to do, and
Mrs. Walters.
My memory is not as good as it used to be, but I don't think that Ecosystems is in it. But I do still support moving ahead because we're under such a timetable.
There are timetables in the MOU as well, but I don't know what those are precisely.
Bernson.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I think that any of you who have ever taken the drive up the 395 and gone by the area of Owens Lake and seen the dust and the problems that have arisen there know that we have to act. If we don't act, the courts will act for us, and it will be to our disadvantage. So it's a price we have to pay, and we just have to move forward with it. And I would say that the quicker the better that we do it. It's going to benefit not only the people of Owens Valley, but it will also probably save us a lot of money in the long run.
And perhaps water.
Mr. Hernandez.
Is any part of this part of the land management agreements that we'll be dealing with?
I'm sorry?
Any of this part of the land management agreements?
No.
No.
What basically will this Ecosystem Sciences be doing?
well, they're working throughout the Eastern Sierras, developing water management plans, and they're also involved with the rewatering of the Lower Owens River. It's approximately, I guess, 60 miles. That's been dried since the aqueduct was put in, and that was part of the, I guess, mitigation on the EIR, the groundwater EIR.
Right. And I don't know if this will complicate matters more or not. My understanding was some of that land is leased out for purposes of grazing.
That's correct.
And one of the concepts we're dealing with in the city that we have to deal with that's beginning to emerge is what do we do with some of our biosolids in terms of restructuring some of the earth for purpose of grazing land. I wanted to kind of bring that to people's attention as a seed because we're also looking at other areas to purchase land for that purpose. And I was wondering how it is that could be included as part of the reviews.
Actually, it is. Their Ecosystem Sciences is doing work throughout the Owens Valley for the department in doing just that with their helping them with their grazing and management plans, help them develop grazing and management plans for better water quality.
Okay, and again, I just want to bring it to the attention because we have two different departments that sometimes could be headed in different directions. One being our Department of Sanitation and the other one being our Department of Water and Power. And hopefully we could start talking about some common interests and how we could bring those interests together.
Sure.
Okay.
Anyone else? If not, prepare the roll on item 14. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Let's take item 33 next. Item 33, we have a couple of people want to be heard. Sarah Salinas and Rodney Nardar and Nardine. On item 33, Sarah Salinas? No. I know you're in favor of this, so be very brief.
And agree.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Sarah Salinas, and on behalf of the Miracle Mile resident who submitted the petition back in October 14, 1997. We are here as representatives of District 78. We're looking to get today the approval for the parking restrictions established on Miracle Miles, addressed on article numbers 33. All I can say is that we understand this is not the perfect solution, but it will be very helpful for the community if this gets approved.
Thank you. Rodney Narde.
Rodney Nardi. I'm actually the owner-operator of the El Rey Theatre, which is also located in the Miracle Mile district where Sarah is a resident. I'd just like to fully support their application for Parking District 78 from the business owner's point of view. Naturally, it goes a long way to resolving their issues where my customers or customers of businesses cannot take their residential parking spaces. So I fully urge you to support this motion.
Thank you. Okay, the public hearing is closed. Mrs. Walters?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I rise to oppose a restrictive parking district or special parking district or whatever titles we want to put on it. I've opposed them in other areas of the city wherever they have arisen, and I oppose this one. But I must say that if a special parking district was ever going to make sense, this one makes some sense because the residential areas are so heavily bordered by businesses. But the other areas where we have them really don't make as much sense, don't make that kind of sense as far as I'm concerned because they're all residential. And in the case of UCLA, they're right there by that great university, Mr. President, that was left out of your...
I forgot to mention that one. That is another great
You forgot to mention that one, okay. Right. But anyway, I oppose this on the basis of general opposition to special parking district.
Introduce the kids from USC? Okay. Anyone else want to be heard on 33? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes, 1 no.
That is approved. We'll send that forthwith. The next item,
Item number 19, submitted without recommendations.
yeah, 19, who's, huh? Mr. Ridley Thomas, 19, without recommendation.
Mr. President, pursuant to the committee's hearing, we have now satisfied the questions that we did have. The CLA's office did review the matter with ITA, and I think we are now ready to proceed. Thank you.
A motion to,
Move it.
okay, any discussion? If not, prepare the roll on 19, a motion by Mr. Ridley Thomas. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Next item,
Item number 28, you have cards on the item.
yeah. Ms. Galanter, we have a lot of cards on this.
To explain briefly what the ordinance proposal is. And I believe there was a hearing held at the committee, but it was rather a perfunctory one, so I will move then a 10-minute hearing for the people who've come down today. And then I'll have a few comments, and I think Mr. Fewer may have a few comments as well.
Yes, Mr. President and members of the council, Mark Brown, Assistant City Attorney. The section in question deals with commercial vending on Venice Beach, and there have been several revisions to the city's ordinance previously based on court decisions. And this latest attempt to revise it is not required by a court decision, but by, I think, a feeling that the current provisions of the ordinance are not accomplishing what was intended to be accomplished. The current provision would provide that while the First Amendment activities, which are very much desired there, would be permitted to occur, and in fact would permit artists and the like to display their own works of art, the commercial activity, which has been very prevalent, would be prevented. The ordinance that currently exists sought to prevent that commercial activity by requiring that only donations be permitted for commercial goods, and apparently that caused enforcement problems and wasn't really doing the job. So the new version of the ordinance would state that no commercial activity could occur except with limited exceptions. And those exceptions would refer to traditional First Amendment activities that we are required by court decision to include, such as the sale of newspapers and magazines and periodicals and those things. And that's not a new provision to the ordinance. That's been in the ordinance. There would also be the requirement that courts have imposed that merchandise constituting, carrying, or making a religious, political, philosophical, or ideological message or statement, which is inextricably intertwined with that merchandise, would be allowed to be sold. And that is a provision that we also have in our current ordinance. The new exception that we have created, which would allow the performers and artists to come back and sell their own either performances or their own artistic works, is the part that says that painters, sculptors, photographers, and the like could, and musicians and performers could exercise their First Amendment rights on the boardwalk. And they could do that by bringing their own works down to the boardwalk, selling their own works, being able to show by signing those works that they are their works, and also having proof that they are in fact the person who signed the work. They'd have to have a photo identification. So that's the intent and the substance of the ordinance.
Are all these people for it, or are there anyone against it?
There are a number of the cards indicate general comments, and I believe there were some that indicated opposition. Many people are in favor of it. I just don't, this is all about free speech. I don't want to deny anybody their free speech. But let me just, as long as I'm talking right now, maybe I can just make my comments now and not have to do it later. The problem that we've faced is we've been trying for years to protect the legitimate merchants who are in regular commerce, in commercial space, paying business tax, paying rent, and contributing to the city's economy from unfair competition. In the course of trying to do that, we have inadvertently and definitely unintentionally created a climate which has made it difficult for the performers and artists who are such an important part of Venice Beach. And so we've also made it difficult for law enforcement. And so what we're trying to do with this revised ordinance is to create the conditions that will allow the excitement of Venice Beach to be recreated, and at the same time still protect the legitimate business people who have been paying rent and doing what they're supposed to do down there all this time. And we've had a fairly lengthy process of trying to develop this ordinance, working with the city attorney's office, also with the police department, because they wind up having to enforce it. And of course, we'd like to have them focus their attention on preventing crimes, not on having to do this kind of stuff. We do have the commanding officer of Pacific Division here today if anybody has questions. And at the same time, of course, we are mindful, as we always have been, that there are First Amendment issues to be covered, and we think we've covered those adequately. So I hope no one's against it, but you never know. This is Venice we're talking about.
Okay. You suggested a 10-minute public hearing? Well, let's just hear from those who are in opposition. We have a Ron Karen, Bill Greenslade. You want to proceed?
Good morning. I believe that the new ordinance will be bad for Venice and will be bad for the city of LA. The small-time vendors in Venice Beach don't hurt the store owners. I think that the eliminations of the vendors from the western side of the boardwalk will discourage the development of small business in the city of LA. Many of the store owners started in the western side of Venice Beach, and then they generated cash and they went to the other side and they rented a store. Also, many of my friends and many of people that I know come from all over the country, and they test market their product, and if they succeed and become prosperous, they rent a store either in Venice or someplace else in Los Angeles. Also, the elimination of the vendors will take away a great hobby and a source of income for hundreds of vendors. And also it will take away a source of taxation for the city of LA. Also, one last point, the final point, is that the elimination of the vendors will eliminate the competition. And let's face it, that's why the store owners are here.
Okay.
Competition is good for...
You made your point. Bill Greenslade. And then Ann Scotto.
Good morning. My name is Bill Greenslade. I've been on the oceanfront walk on the ocean side for over a year, accepting donations. In late December and early January, LAPD beach patrol officers came to me and told me that if I wanted to stay here, I needed to go get a business license. It sounded a little strange to me to have a business license and accept donations, so I checked with the city attorney's office, and they told me, yes, indeed, that's what I needed to do. I went and got the license, paid for it. With a license, I've made longer-term plans. I've rented storage. I've bought more equipment. And 4 months after getting that license, I'm now told I can no longer be on the beach for donation or not. Now, I believe because I was told by 2 different city officials, I have somewhat of a contract that I could be there. And I don't know if my theory has merit to the letter of the law, but I think it has merit to the spirit of the law. And all I'm asking is to give me and others who did the same thing their due and allow them to finish their year.
All right, thank you. Ann Scotto and then Bill Stovkin. Give us your name, please.
Bill Stovkin. Thanks for hearing me. I'm a 20-year resident of Venice. I live on the boardwalk, and I'm here in opposition to this ordinance, and I hope the council will consider the fact that the very essence of Venice is challenged. We've had this before. We've tried to shut down people on the boardwalk side. People will not come down to Venice. And it appears to me that it's an economic decision, really no one giving consideration to what Venice is and the essence of Venice is. Everything in the ordinance has to do with sales. It has nothing to do with the safety or the fact that people come down to visit Venice. So I just want to voice my opposition and hope that the council votes against this ordinance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Noya Finkelstein.
Hi, I'm a vendor, a craftsperson on the side that you all don't like. Anyway, I think that craftspeople should be included in the category that can remain. I personally, for one, sit there all the time, making my craft. Any of the policemen can tell you when I'm not helping a customer, I'm making my craft. I'd like for this category that I fall into to be allowed to stay as part of the artists. And the craftsperson does contribute to the ambiance, a nice kind of feeling in Venice. People come to Venice to escape from cell phones and computers, and the craftsperson can help contribute to that. Thank you.
Michael Hanning.
Members of the council, my name is Michael Hanley, and I'm a recent transplant here from San Francisco. And in San Francisco, we have a program where they issue these. We go before an arts commission. We have to prove our items are done by hand. I myself am a coin cutter. We are licensed by the Arts Commission as an art. Let me read from you the handbook, if I may, produced by the Arts Commission. As somebody mentioned earlier, that on the back of the memo there, I saw where it said something about don't pay taxes. In San Francisco, for this permit, we pay $87.50 every 3 months, or $385 a year. That adds to the money that the city gets. This was written by the Arts Commission from San Francisco. It says, to the treasuries of local, state, and federal governments, the street artists contribute a full range of taxes applicable to their activities. The street artist contribution to the overall economy of the city of San Francisco is estimated at $2 to $3 million annually. That is taxes that I'm willing to pay. I'm willing to pay for one of my permits. I'm willing to go before a commission and prove that my stuff is done by hand there before the public. I think the biggest outcry on the whole boardwalk since I've been there is from San Francisco. In October when we went down there, it was like Sears and Roebuck on the western side of that place. There was nothing but clothes, $2 and $3 items, direct competition for the stores across from where we were vending. What I do is unique. It's done by hand. You can't buy that at any of the stores because I sell this myself. And I just would like to say that the artists that do this ordinance that you're trying to pass, people that create things by hand can contribute to the economy. We can contribute to the tax base. We can contribute to everybody's happiness out there. And I would like to submit this street artist program book to you folks to take a look at it if you would care to, and perhaps make up your own mind from there. And that's all I would like to say.
Thank you very much. Albert Lewis Culberson III.
Well, I'm Albert Lewis Culberson III. I've been a street artist in Venice for going on 6 years now. I can appreciate the problem that my council person has had in trying to straighten out that mess down there. I really don't have any problem with the ordinance, the new proposed ordinance, except for a little bit of the wording. Where it says to protect activities such as painter, sculptor, and photographer. I'm glad they're including sculptor and photography in this, but painter is very limiting as far as two-dimensional art goes. What about the person that works with charcoal or drawing? What about the tools of the future? What happens when computer-generated art can go out on the boardwalk? I'm worried that this law is not looking far enough ahead, or the wording of it isn't. Let's see. I would suggest that maybe that the council should retain the services of an art professional. Not an artist, please. It's just a professor of art or an art council. To help them determine what is and what is not art. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll have a few that are in favor of the, Steve Hoonman, and then Jerry Rubin.
Hi, Steve Human, 8 Horizon Venice. I think you can see by the number of people that came up, or I should say the differences in the people who came up, that we have a definite problem, and there's no easy way to solve it. We've got commercial enterprises across from commercial enterprises. The ones on the east side paying rent, paying taxes, the others out there just to make a buck. You've got artists, you've got craftspeople. People are talking about how to keep Venice charming. What is the nature of Venice? You heard the council member say that we're losing all the performers and entertainers out there. This particular law is the first one where I've seen that the community has been a little bit more involved. There was a small committee that was assembled at the beginning. We worked hard at conveying our problems, at covering all the different problems that are out there. The police were also involved. I think that this one, the third time's the charm, I hope, and I think that this one really looks at the problem the best and will solve the problem. Thank you.
Rubin, followed by Demetrius. Tommy?
Council members.
Rubin.
Jerry Rubin, I'm representing the Los Angeles Alliance for Survival, Peace and Environmental Group, and a group we formed in Venice called SHAPE, which stands for Save the Healers, Artists, Politicos, and Entertainers. I think it's a pretty good ordinance. We've always wanted to keep the free spirit of Venice alive, protect First Amendment activity, entertainment, artistry, political outreach. We've always had respect for the merchants. I bought this T-shirt there, the shorts. We've always tried to say that unfair competition is not good on this strip, and we continue to say that. I also want to commend Councilwoman Galanter for a very good process to refurbish the boardwalk. And everyone during that process said the west side of the boardwalk should be protected into perpetuity for the First Amendment protected activity. Now, having said that, and declaring it a free speech zone is a wonderful thing, we can't forget the people that are doing handcrafted things. And I think the next step should be a dialogue that is opened up to work with Councilwoman Galanter's office, perhaps the Cultural Affairs Department, perhaps the Recreation and Parks Department, and everyone. Something we suggested many years ago, and now the time is ripe to have a city-sponsored Venice Beach Crafts Bazaar somewhere, perhaps over by the old vacated oil well site or the Venice Pavilion, where the good people that are doing the creative stuff that might not be protected by the First Amendment, and which would be directly in conflict with the merchants being right across from them on the boardwalk, wouldn't just be left out in the lurch.
All right, Mr. Rubin, you have to wrap it up. Is that it? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rubin. All right. Is it Demetrius?
Here he comes.
Tommen? And this will be the last speaker, and the other cards that we have will make him part of the file. All right?
My name is Demetrius Taman. I'm from the Venice Folk Healing Circle. I'm on the other side. And I bear no malice against the people that are paying taxes across the street. I've been down there for 19 years. And I believe it's getting a little too congested over there. People that are selling stuff. I believe people that make their own crafts, they should be down there because they make their own. They don't sell commercial goods from other places. Come down there. Also, I'm a member of SHAPE, Save the Healers, Artists, Politicos, and Entertainers. I also have treated people on the other side. I am a reflexologist, acupressurist, and I do little massage therapy. But also, I listen to people's problems, homeless people, and all that. I try to help them get off the street. I'm known as people call me the Godfather.
All right, sir. We're already over.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, the public comment period is now closed. We've given 14 minutes, 15 minutes on this. And I already did. All cards will be part of the file. All right, Mr. Fuhr.
I'll defer to Ms. Galanter.
All right. Mr. Wax.
I was giving my time.
Oh, you want, but Ms. Galanter's.
It's okay, I'll go last.
No, it's all right, Ruth, if you want to go first.
No, I just, never mind. I just wanted to say that Mr. Rubin and I are obviously operating on the same wavelength here. One of the things I have already asked the Cultural Affairs Department and the Department of Recreation and Parks to help with is developing a crafts bazaar at the beach. It looks like the best place to do it is going to be when the pavilion comes down, and the pavilion is scheduled to come down. The Board of Recreation and Parks Commissioners has voted to do that, and I don't have the timetable in front of me at this moment, but the without taking a lot of your time, council members, the issue of how to define who can be spread out along the west side of Oceanfront Walk has been a difficult and complicated one, influenced by several different court cases, I'm told by the city attorney. But I do want you all to understand that the craftspeople are not going to be forgotten in this. What we are trying to do, first and foremost, is eliminate the straight commercial activity and make it possible and indeed desirable and worthwhile for the entertainers and the performers who used to be there in such force, who've been squeezed out by the proliferation of T-shirt sales and blue jeans sales and sunglass sales and all the things that are turning up on the public property. And it sounds good to think of them all as small entrepreneurs just getting started, but a lot of them have cell phones so they can communicate with the home office and the next guy 3 streets down along Oceanfront Walk. And you heard from the last gentleman who spoke that it's getting awfully crowded down there, and it's getting so crowded with the commercial activity that it's no longer fair to the East Side merchants, the ones who are paying rent and renting space and have been there for years. It's also not fair to the performers and the artists. So I would urge passage of this. And
All right.
I pledge to you all, we're going to, when the pavilion comes down, we're going to have the other thing, I hope by that time, in place and ready to go.
Very good. Mr. Wax.
I'm halfway there, but I was hesitant in previous times to restrict because I thought it took away from what gives Venice its character and many of the qualities that many of us find really so attractive. When Ms. Galanter and Mr. Brown presented this ordinance as an alternative, it seemed like it had gone a long way to try to take that into account by making an exception for artists and performers and others. And I like that, but I think that the people who've raised questions about your definition of an artist are very accurate. Art is not to be narrowly defined like that. I mean, it is a running battle in the art world between high art and low art, between craft and art. And it's a very, very difficult distinction to be made. In fact, people could well argue that historically, the narrower definitions of what art is have been exclusionary in nature. They have tended to leave out the self-taught artists. They have tended to leave out the minority artists. They have tended to leave out a lot of people that don't fit within the tradition of what fine art is. Is it craft? Is Dale Chihuly a craftsperson or not? I venture to say when he made his first glass piece, people thought it was craft. Now you go to the most expensive gallery in Venice and you'll see things being sold in the 6 figures. Is it functional or not? If you go to the Bellagio Hotel, you'll see the Dale Chihuly ceiling. But if you go to the Philadelphia Museum, you'll also see the work in there. You can't make those narrow distinctions. And anything, it isn't enough to have a crafts thing just sort of over there, because it's the definitions between craft and art are inextricably tied together and hard to define. Now, there is a valid distinction between excluding selling other people's works as opposed to your own. But if someone is there selling their own, it's very, very hard to exclude craftswork from art because that distinction doesn't exist in many people's minds, although it does in others. The gentleman who, and Ms. Galanter, perhaps the gentleman who gave the San Francisco example of perhaps having the Arts Commission, with a permit, give a judgment. At least that approach attempts to try to do that, and I think we could do that here. So I like the approach you're on now, but I think that you've got to refine the definition of this, not only because you may be making room for them someplace else, but I think a good lawsuit could be brought by an appropriate craftsperson to say that their exclusion of that person is really, a denial of their rights. So if you could only work on that aspect, the rest of this, I mean, I really support the approach you're taking. I don't think, someone selling. Well, you'll get to speak the whole 3 minutes. I'm just trying to tell you that your approach of trying to separate out the normal commercial venture from the creative activity, which really I think gives character to that place, is a good one. I think that the definition, at least as insofar as I heard it from Mr. Brown, is too narrow and too exclusionary and won't hold up and shouldn't hold up. We want to be encouraging creative expression in the widest possible. The different people from different backgrounds, from different experiences, express themselves creatively differently. And too many people have always been left out by narrow definitions of art. And in this city, more than any other city, when we have more diverse people from more backgrounds and more ways of expressing themselves, you can't have an exclusionary definition. You have to have an inclusionary definition by its very nature if you're to include the creative people in the city. So if you could work on that one aspect, I could support this, but I have a problem with that. And maybe Mr. Brown could respond, and then Ms. Galanter, I know you want to speak again.
Yeah. Right?
I could.
Mr. Brown.
I could very briefly respond. There is that case has been brought in New York, and the basis for the definition that we've included is not to define what is art and what is not art, but what in fact the court determined in New York to be expressive, as opposed to what is always expressive, as opposed to what is sometimes utilitarian and not always expressive. And the court found that painting, sculpting, and photography is always expressive, found that things like pottery making, silversmithing, and those things are not necessarily expressive.
That's a narrow court decision. That's going. You're going to tell me a Donald Judd table isn't a work of art? I mean,
it's not an attempt.
It's just not so. You've got to go farther than that one court in dealing with this.
But it was not an attempt to define what is art.
Very good. All right, Mr. Fuhrer.
The most troubling aspect of this conversation for pedestrian me is that I don't know some of the people Mr. Wax is referring to. I have to get into the opportunity. I have to get those opportunities. This came to the committee, and Joel's important point about not only retaining but actually getting back the character of Venice is what I understand to be the key motivation behind the ordinance, which is trying to find our way rather than taking what we have and trying to refine it. What we have is not what it should be anymore. And Ms. Galanter is trying very hard to contend with a change that on two levels is problematic. One change is the basic change in character, the supplanting of street performers who are a main attraction for the huge tourism that Venice attracts, and then they're being excluded by the proliferation of the T-shirt sellers and such. That's one issue. A related but different issue is the impact of all those sellers on the folks right across the way, which could itself further deteriorate Venice, because it could lead to some of the merchants who are paying rent no longer being able to afford to do so because those across the way who aren't are making a buck easier and less expensively, but not fairly. So that's why I see those issues are related, but they are different issues. But at their core, we're talking about the same thing. Venice is, as Ms. Galanter always tells us, the principal tourist attraction in our area. How do we keep it so? Mr. Brown came to committee, as did people in support of the ordinance, as did Ms. Galanter's staff, to discuss with us the fact that this ordinance arises from legal cases elsewhere, to discuss with us the basic practicalities of enforcement. And I certainly, Joel raises, I think, some very good questions about how to contend with the art versus what Mark calls utilitarian aspects of course, being created down there. Very good questions. There's also the question of how do we expect our officers to enforce the distinction? And there's some bright lines, and I'm not sure there's a bright line here. I think Joel's got a point there. But today, I'm prepared to support the ordinance. I know that Ms. Galanter, the city attorney, and the community are prepared to refine it to better define, maybe more broadly define, what craft means in the context of an individual doing his or her own stuff. But Ms. Galanter has made clear, as the summer is very close on the horizon, that we have to do something to recreate the best of what Venice used to be. We can refine it as we move forward, and I think that's the right approach.
All right, Ms. Galanter to close.
All I really want to add to that, since Michael has thoughtfully made a couple of the points I was just going to make, no, I appreciate that, is that, Joel, basically I agree with you. But we do have a situation today where the stuff we're trying to limit, which is not the stuff you're trying to protect, is crowding out the stuff we all want to protect. Summer is coming. We need to get something in place that is better than the ordinance that is on the books today in time for this summer season. We can start as soon as we pass this. I'm not starting until we pass it. We can start as soon as we pass this to work on how to refine the ordinance, and we can move that as quickly as possible. I do want to say to the gentleman who outlined the San Francisco system that I have also met with Mr. Nodal of Cultural Affairs to see how complicated and how quickly it would be possible to institute either a similar system or something modeled on that would help us to create the same kind of arts encouragement climate here. And I'm more than prepared to go ahead and do that. I need Cultural Affairs, the Department of Cultural Affairs, to help us with that, and I certainly would welcome the participation and help of the entire community and the council as well. But I've got to have something better than the ordinance that's today on the books, and this is a whole lot better.
All right, clerk will open the roll. Close the roll.
12 ayes.
All right, that ordinance will be deemed adopted. Next item. If there's no objection, forthwith, so ordered, forthwith.
Item number 34, you have cards on the item.
Item 34, we have,
It's my item, so I'd like to describe it if I may, or...
you want to open first before we have public comment? Yes, Mr. Wax.
If I may, I'll wait till...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to, on the way out, please, if you can, we have to continue to do our business. All right, Mr. Wax.
Yeah, Mr. President, members of council, what this motion does is ask that this city join with the great many citizen groups in officially endorsing the Great American Gas Out, the boycott of the purchase of gas on Friday, April 30th. That gas out, which has come from the bottom up, which has come from the public, from the people, is a tangible and I think important way of people expressing their outrage at the escalating prices in gasoline, because it speaks the one language, perhaps, that the oil companies most understand, and that's the pocketbook language. Earlier this month, Ms. Chick has introduced two motions that this council passed that try to get at the reasons behind the skyrocketing gas prices. And those were good motions because it is that lack of information that has created so much of the feeling out there. The problem, however, is that I don't really believe that the oil companies are going to ever give you the honest truth. The answers that they've given so far, such as some refinery fires up north and perhaps an OPEC cutback, don't hold water. The fact is there is no gasoline shortage in California. The fact is the gasoline that is being sold now at exorbitant prices is very gasoline that they bought earlier at lower prices and have stored it. And the fact is that they're really taking advantage of those fires or advantage of those situations to gouge people and charge what they can. And so it seems to me that people rightfully feel that there has to be another approach in dealing with this, and that is to send the kind of message that an effective boycott would make, in letting the oil companies know that people really do have the capacity to use consumer power in this manner, and that this is really just the beginning. No one's going to pretend that not buying gas on one day is going to solve all the problems. But it is going to send a message, and a message loud and clear, that people are capable of and willing to take this into their own hands, and this is really the beginning of a consumer movement in this area. I want to amend my motion by adding one additional clause that would not only ask all of the people of Los Angeles to do this, but with the exception of emergency vehicles, all city employees using all city vehicles also abide by the boycott on the 30th. And I really want to applaud the many people from the community who've really taken the leadership in this. This is something that, as I say, has come from the bottom up. It has not come from the top down. And through the amazing use of technology now, there is an email chain going across the internet now that has really captured the imagination and empowered a lot of people throughout this nation to do something about being ripped off, there's something about a problem that they previously felt that they were unable to in effect, deal with. So I strongly want to urge you to adopt the motion to include the amendment that the city employees using city vehicles also abide by it, with the exception of emergency vehicles, and that we continue. Next week, we'll have several other motions dealing with other approaches to this, but I think this should be very, very clear today to be focused on the boycott on Friday, April 30th, and it'll be a very, very strong message if all of us abide by it.
All right, on public comment, James Mays, followed by Celeste King, followed by Sandra Moore. Sandia.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to make this very brief, and I want to thank the councilman for being so diligent and standing up there for the people, and that's what we really need. I must say to you that I really don't want to be down here today. I prefer being in my office, taking care of my patients. I'd rather be out in the community helping to fight crime, drugs, the effect of cigarette smoking. I'd also like to be working for the older people with Social Security, in which they are being ripped off, I think. But you can't separate your medical practice from the community, because the problems of the community are relevant to your practice, because it does affect the health of the people, because we recently found that stress does cause high blood pressure. This Gas Out Day, co-chaired by myself and Reverend Lowberry, is a grassroots concept that has kind of mushroomed throughout this state and throughout this nation via the internet and with the help of the media. I think that this movement by this councilman and your acceptance would be a very good, valid step to validate our actions. We're going to be at the gas stations tomorrow at Martin Luther King and Dinker at 11 o'clock, and we're going to get the people out there to symbolically let the gas companies know that we are mad as heck, and we're not going to take it anymore, and we have something for you. If you vote for this resolution, we have a Gas Out Day badge that we're going to pin you with. If you don't vote for it, don't ask for one. Thank you very much.
All right, Celeste King. Well, your button, now it's lit. Well, yeah, but we're not through with
Thank you very much. Just in terms of a brief comment, you know, I begin to wonder from time to time what some of our elected officials are doing in Washington. We are seeing that there have been two major collective purchases of gasoline operations by foreign governments in the last year. The Mobil company sold out, and most recently ARCO has sold out. If we allow these kind of things to take place, it shows our entrepreneurship is beginning to diminish. We are going downhill. We are en route to the tombs. There is no way that we can run a major commercial government without controlling the prices to some extent as it relates to fuel. It is necessary as far as education is concerned. I got a lecture from my granddaughter, who was 18, this morning. Basically what she said is certainly say something and cause those prices to go down. She's getting ready to go to Cal State LA, and she says it's going to be very difficult for her to maneuver her little 4-cylinder engine. But be that as it may, we do have the responsibility of seeing to it that youngsters are provided with the necessaries to obtain an education. It is going to be the key to the future and to their individual futures. We have got to do something about these gas prices. The only thing that we can do is to make a statement, and that is what we are requesting of you this morning.
Thank you very much, Celeste. It's always a pleasure. All right, next.
My name is Sandra Moore. I'm the Vice Chairperson of CORE California, and I have the authority to turn my time over to Adrian Dove, President of CORE.
Adrian?
Thank you very much. To be very brief, we want to support the motion before the floor. And we would like to add one other thing. Myself, as a former head of a department in the city of Los Angeles, the profound power of the procurement operations of the city, the automobiles purchased. And we would like to propose a formula that says every dime that the gas price rises above the norm should add another 10% of the fleet converted to electric. And we really want to propose that, support this notion here, but for a long term, let's think more about relating the acceleration of purchasing the city fleet in electric cars to the increase in the price. Well, thank you very much.
Very good. Okay, Master Chun, followed by Larry Grant.
As a council member, and I'd like to say thank you for that. I want to be here to speak about gas price down. Example myself, I'm the martial arts taekwondo grandmasters. I teach several different places. And sometimes I'm going to South Central's 63rd Street and Crenshaw for volunteer without charging money for kid. And also after that, I'm going to Rampart Police Station's youth program. I also teach that. And also I'm going to different dates to Little Angels Club for USC. And also Hancock Park and the Park La Brea area. Then also sometimes that when I myself, even gasoline fee like each day, more than $4, sometimes $5 for one day, from in the morning 7 to sometimes 9, 10 o'clock. For me, it's price for gas is so high. If I say I'm the businessman actually, then what about the young kids? They'll have to go to school. They have no choice. This price is for them, but so much, but that bothers them for to any other participate for the art or the school after school program.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Grant.
Thank you very much. I guess I would say Mr. Acting President, right? And members of the City Council. It's indeed a pleasure to be here this morning to support Councilman Wachs and also the great gas out that's coming this Friday. We'd like for all of the City Council members to contact their constituents or let their constituents know if they are supporting this motion, to support them. Thank you very much.
All right, public comment period is now closed. Ms. Chick.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, and I want to thank my colleague and especially thank the leaders of this movement. I've got my button on already. And I can't think of a more powerful and effective way to get the message across to the gas industry is to have people join in and do this boycott on Friday, which means that all of our city cars, as Mr. Wax said, all of us, our personal cars, our transportation guru, Mr. Hal Bernson, asked me to mention on his behalf that all of us who are not putting gas in our cars, in fact, should make a double whammy out of this and use other forms of transportation on Friday than we normally use to kind of expand our perspective on how we don't need to be always dependent in being a single passenger driver or a single person in a car. So I join with my colleague and especially the residents and drivers of the city to put a brake on these accelerating gas prices, which are phony baloney, and to flex our muscles and give a little clout to this and see what the response is going to be. Thank you very much.
Ms. Galanter.
If you're going to rent a car on Friday, rent an electric one. You can do that at Budget down at the airport. You can do it at a number of other places. There is now a company called EV Rent-A-Car. Start a trend. You won't need gasoline ever again.
All right. All right, clerk will open the roll. Close the roll.
10 ayes.
All right, that motion will be deemed adopted forthwith. All right, next item.
You have special one on the desk, motion presented by Councilmember Wax.
All right, on the findings.
The city attorney is prepared to...
Yes.
All right.
Many of our city employees have been called up as reserves during the NATO campaign in Kosovo. As in the past, the city needs to authorize the continuing employee benefits and the compensation between the military and the city.
All right, there's on the motion, open the roll.
Okay.
On the findings, close the roll.
10 ayes.
All right. Very good.
You know, very briefly,
On the motion.
Mr. President, members of council, we did this for the
all of them.
employees
Desert
that
Storm.
were at the Gulf War and the employees that served in crisis in Bosnia. There's unfortunately reason to believe that a number of our employees are going to be called up to serve in relation to Kosovo, and it is imperative that we make them whole.
Correct.
And that they receive not only the salary, but the benefits that be maintained at the difference between what they're getting now and what they would be getting paid from the military, that we make up that difference so that they be made whole as they serve the country. And that is the least we could do as a city.
Very good.
Yeah, all
We
of
got
it,
that. All right, open the roll, close the roll.
10 ayes.
All right, that motion will be deemed adopted forthwith. If there's no objection, that'll be the order. Next item.
This is the time for comments from the public
All right,
on
Mr.
non-agenda
Ross.
items.
My name is Larry Ross, and I shall repeat yesterday's statements. Knowledge is the possession of no one, but yet it is, it is within the possession of everyone. And the need to be heard is an expression of the desire to be acknowledged and/or recognized as a human being with a voice. So let me say it once again. The 300 plus words language stolen during my kidnapping and false imprisonment or incarceration from 1/26/98 through 9/9/98 has the value alone of $1 zillion. That's $1 zillion. Once again, that's $1 zillion. Let me repeat that figure or number, $1 zillion. Repetition has its place. It is worth a minimum of $1 zillion and not a cent less, contrary to what may be uttered or has been uttered since the recent revelation, which I might say goes all the way back to at least September when I got out and I came back to here. Now I want to squash any defamation or rumors, because since I've been sitting here this morning, I have heard things circulating concerning not necessarily this one. He is trying to start a riot or the likes. The questions are how and why. Reporting continuous crimes or felonious crimes against my family and I just don't seem to fit the necessary description, at least in the background or backdrop of the law. I say, show me a law that prohibits reporting crimes, no matter how hideous, heinous, sordid, or morbid then maybe you would have a legal leg to stand on instead of a racist one. When crimes such as forgeries, frauds, defraudings, kidnappings, false imprisonments, robberies, strong arm robbery or robberies, illegal transportations, mayhems, children abuses or endangerments, and grave tampering, desecration. I might say that this goes back to Alabama, which I found out in 1997 when I went there concerning my relatives. I could not locate their graves. They should have been in a certain location, and they were not when I went down there. When I go back again, I will make verification of this fact to keep it current. So if such crimes have been allowed to go unchallenged by those who have the legal duty, responsibility to act, yet have not, still all evidence points to the truthfulness of the allegations made or alleged. And it's clearly apparent of the efforts to defame, to frame, and or to set up without action being exerted, taken to put it down or squash it, then what hypocrisy to act on a lie or obvious lies, knowing full well the unfounded base or nature of the lie. He's trying to start a rumor, a riot. I'm about to finish up. But once again, this is not the first time I have brought this to your attention. To conclude, today, I would like to say on the political scale of importance, the barometer gauge is measured by as follows: sizzling hot, which means cover up or hush up, hush hush, hot, nail biting, and sweat popping, warm, heat being felt, lukewarm, comfortably felt.
All right.
What about warm?
Your time is up, sir.
It means no effect, or casual mentioning. But cold seemed to be the attitude being taken here since my appearance, which goes all the way back to '97. No effect. But let me say the above barometer determines if any media exposure or attention will or shall be given, and the amount or degree as well, if any, or none if it could be arranged or maneuvered or set up, because obviously the crime determines the time.
All right, your time is up, sir.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you for that time.
Thank you. Public comment period is closed. Next item.
Motions for posting and referral.
All right, if there's no objections, so ordered. Next item.
Item number 37 is a closed session.
All right, everybody that's not here on that item, please, if they could please exit the room so we could conduct our business. Back in session. Next item.
The desk is clear, Mr. President.
All right, are there any adjourning resolutions? Do we have any? All right, will everybody please stand? All right, Mr. Holden. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Chick.
Very briefly, for my staff person in the district office who lost her very beloved grandfather, Robert Thomas, someone who had been there for her in her earlier life and had taken her to the hospital when each of her young sons was born. Benika Hawkins is the surviving granddaughter of Robert Thompson in his memory. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Holden.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear? All right, fine. Mr. President, this is a statement put out by City Attorney James Hahn in reference to Vincent S. Dulcimer, who was a judge here in the County of Los Angeles. Vincent Dulcimer was a giant in the legal profession. He just died this past Tuesday. He was a great trial judge and appellate justice, and a man who was active and distinguished in so many fields, but never lost his ability to relate to and communicate with everyone. Among his major accomplishments was his work as an educator. He was a dean of the Orange County University's College Law School, which he was the first law school in Orange County. And he was a founder of what became the Pepperdine School of Law, where Jimmy Hahn received his education in a law degree. He was also a graduate of Southwestern School of Law, and he died of congestive heart failure at the age of 78. He leaves his wife, Linda, 3 children, 2 stepchildren, and 11 grandchildren. So certainly he's contributed significantly, and he will be missed.
All members on that. Anybody else have a during resolution? Clerk, call the roll. All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.